What do you make of Sia's fitness going into the World Cup? Are we taking him because we want to take our captain, who won us or who led us to the previous World Cup victory, or do we genuinely believe that he's going to be fit? The way they've picked the squad, I think Sia might be there as a moral
booster,
As a mascot.
as a mascot.
Parade.
yeah. Because it looks like there's something that happens to the players with him there. There's a quality that
I think it's bigger than just the player. I think the whole country sort of jumps on the wagon. Garcia. I mean, they speak of 60 million supporters, and Sia not there sort of discounts about 48, 50 of those 60 million in my humble mathematics.
We're good.
It's the Rugga Muffin, MXO,
Mnikelo.
back with you again.
Just nje, off the bat, we have grown exponentially this past week. We've more than doubled our subscribers, views. You guys are special. Keep coming at us, please.
No, we can't thank you enough. You can't thank you enough for the support. Keep coming, subscribe, and share the channel, please.
Right, into it straight and away. Oh, we saw the announcement of the World Cup squads this past week.
Yeah.
I think there were some notable omissions from the Springbok squad. Lukhanyo was the big one.
Yeah.
Handre Pollard was the other one. And Jager.
Yeah. Those
3 World Cup winners.
Yes, World Cup winners. That's very important in the experience. And if you look at a guy like Lukhanyo, it doesn't seem like we have a like-for-like replacement. Then let's forget Pollard and the fact that there's the Duplessis, one of the Duplessis brothers we could have roped in, and for some reason we just never got to it, And I think we were content with Handre Pollard and what's his name again?
But
Our actual number 10 now.
Manile Bok.
And Manile Bok. It seemed like we were focused on those two, and we didn't think on the chance that an injury could come and cripple our plans.
I think looking at the past 2 seasons, you can make an argument that Damian Willemse was the trainee number 10 because he was picked there for the past 2 seasons. So I think there is a plan. I just don't know if there's a plan for a goal kicker because we saw against New Zealand, Cheslin at some point was kicking. Faf also gets to kick for poles at some point. So I think outside of kicking for poles, there's a plan for number 10, it seems.
Yeah,
going on the last few seasons.
It seems like we have to believe there's a plan because they haven't been focused on getting him decent game time in the position. So now we are kind of half with what he offers. We're not sure. We know he can't kick, but the bit he has had, he's had some good performances, but shaky. It's a bit 50-50, And then we look at Lukhanyo, like for like, we don't have a replacement. A guy like Usimilane, I'm wondering, isn't he a guy who could fit in well in the mold of Lukhanyo, perhaps? And had we been putting him in and playing him, into giving him some game time, maybe by now he'd be ready,
Yeah, perhaps, but the little I've seen of him this year in the Rugby Championship,
He wasn't blowing the lights out, I'll admit.
No.
He wasn't blowing the lights out.
I'm a fan, but he hasn't done anything to warrant selection for the World Cup for me. I think the scary thing for me with Lukhanyo is I spoke to a doctor friend, an orthopedic surgeon, who says he saw Lukhanyo's scans a while ago, and he says that knee is gone. Uti, at the very least, the fellow should get knee reconstruction. And even if that happens, he won't be the same player.
Yeah.
So that for me is a little. I don't want to say scary, but it's. I feel for the guy.
Yeah,
He's still young and he's been playing some super rugby.
Let's hope the doctor is wrong. You know, they can get these things wrong sometimes.
And it's also a question of what treatment they're going for. Perhaps there's a treatment that's, a new treatment that will get him back on par without the need for reconstruction.
How old is he? How much time does he have?
I don't think he's got a lot of time.
If he was perfect in terms
I
of
think
health.
he could possibly go to one more World Cup after this one, possibly.
Yeah, if we're
But
pushing it.
the fellow the doctor spoke to said this guy should not even have been playing rugby as it is. I mean, that's how bad that knee is.
You know the story with Steph Curry and his toilet paper ankles.
Tell us.
He was not supposed to make it this far as a basketball player. Because he was written off by medical professionals and medical experts. So let's hope Doctor is
How
wrong
did he
on
go
this
about
one.
it?
I have no idea. There's a documentary of his. I never saw the documentary, but there's a trusted source. He's not a doctor, unfortunately.
Another miracle, World Cup miracle. Remember, I think 2 World Cups ago, Waisaki Naholo was ruled out of the All Blacks squad. He went to a Pacific Island doctor.
Yes, they put him in the pots
and
there.
they set him straight in a few weeks.
Apparently, they pulled him in a pot, bro.
and it's Africa. So what are we missing here?
So yeah, there's
Kubani kanene nguqhinebe uLukhanyo.
Yeah, Mkhinebe.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think okay, when go start. Okay, it doesn't matter, but he needs to get hold of someone there.
Maybe
he needs to slaughter an animal.
Yeah, maybe he's been doing it. Hence, he's still in rugby where his knees have seemingly completely given up.
Yeah.
But I would have liked some solutions there, But I still believe in the coaching staff and what they're going to bring. I know they have a plan. It's just that hopefully it's a plan we can execute given the time we have. Because last time we were in Japan for a month.
We 4 weeks out.
Yeah, So we had acclimatized. We had been going at 120 kilometers an hour in the practices and our runs, and by the time we were playing Japan, things had been, we'd been in the form of our lives, But now it seems like we're not going to get that advantage. And I'm hoping as we're going towards these games, we start hitting our milestones, in terms of fitness. Because if we are 100% fit, if we are those guys who can pump in an 80-minute game and feel like nothing has happened, I'll give us a chance. I'll give us a shot, especially given the forwards we have. If the forwards can hit it up front as hard as they can and soften the opposition team, then you don't need. We don't have the kind of wings we should be giving like free reign on. But like,
what do you mean?
Like when I say free reign, we don't have. It's either how we play the game and how we train for it. But it seems that if we had to give our boys more ball than necessary, mishaps might happen. It doesn't look like we are.
I'm of a different view, Chief. I think our wings are some of the deadliest in international rugby.
For sure.
Cheslin is stone cold.
He's supreme, yeah.
This Ken and Moody boy is
Ken and Moody and
he's a killer.
Yeah, and he's partnering. It looks like he's partnering winger for now. They play a complementary game. I like how they are under the high ball. So we have answers. We have answers there, but still, it's not only them playing. In the middle, we have a problem there.
And that's where I think my worry is.
Yes,
because
so we can't.
If you pick which is a shoe in, Damien Dialende, and outside of him you pick an Esther Hazen, for example, then we're just gonna play Copper Stamp. They're gonna bash it up, and the outside backs are never gonna see that ball. So that's where my worry is with our current selections.
Yes. The only thing I look forward to is the coaching team might have an element of surprise. Because let's say you take a guy like Damon Delinde and Handre. Given on how you task him, you could give him less to do. If you tell him to run into gaps and do nothing else, he may just be able to do that.
I don't know if he's a gap runner, I think he's a basher.
He is a basher. But if we, let's say, take a little bit of responsibility away from him, we might have a weapon in our hands.
Sure.
So I'm hoping that they're going to adjust roles a little bit. But I'm not of the view we should take a Damon Delinde and play him out of position. I think we'll struggle there. If we can rather give Handre less responsibility, we tell him to get into the gap and train his pass. Then who knows? Because we've got strong characters in the wings.
Sure.
Sure.
And then what did you make of the 4 scrum halves who were selected? 4 scrum halves for the World Cup.
Yeah, everyone's giving us a lot of grief about that, as if we are planning to let go of one of them in the World Cup so we can let in Handre, given that he's ready at the time, which I'm worried about also, because Handre is a confidence player. You play him into the Springboks. He doesn't just arrive and he's ready to go, But if that's our tactic, it's our tactic, man. Why are people giving us grief?
I just feel like you could use that to cover fly-off, Chief.
Yes, they could have.
You could use that extra spot to cover fly-off.
One of the Duplessis brothers.
Now, when you are picking, I'm not sold, but
I'm not sold there as well. I haven't seen any of Faf at number 10, so I can't call it. Obviously, they know him enough, and they can call things we can't call, but I can't call it. I don't know what. As good as a player he is, I think that's a stretch too far.
And then the other position we spoke about is the locks. Marvin Ori comes in for the injured Jager. I don't know if I'm worried too much about that. I think our lineup, our line out is fairly solid. I don't think Marvin Ori weakens it. It just means we've lost a leader.
And a World Cup winner.
There's the experience.
There's something to be said of someone who's already played under that pressure.
Yeah.
But I'm confident with Ori, and I hope he's gonna disappoint a few of the naysayers, and just show us really what he could give and the quality he knows he has. I hope he goes in there and he really excels, because I don't know if he would have enough legs on him to be in the next World Cup. So this is his time to leave a legacy. I hope he really shows up and, gives them. Besides the normal stuff, he hasn't disappointed. I can't remember a game where I'm like, what's going on with Ori? He always gives us consistency.
What do you make of Sia's fitness going into the World Cup? Are we taking him because we want to take our captain, who won us or who led us to the previous World Cup victory, or do we genuinely believe that he's going to be fit? The way they've picked the squad, I think Sia might be there as a moral
booster,
as a mascot.
Mascot.
Parade.
Yeah. Because it looks like there's something that happens to the players with him there. There's a quality that
I think it's bigger than just the player. I think the whole country sort of jumps on the wagon. Garcia. I mean, they speak of 60 million supporters, and Sia not there sort of discounts about 48, 50 of those 60 million in my humble mathematics.
What do you make? I don't know if you've answered this one or if Nklo is going to answer the question about to see. But what do you make of the applause that my Pimpy got? I think on our last episode we weren't too sure if he was going to make it into the squad. We had doubts here as Rugga Muffin, but he had the loudest.
Yes, I think a lot of people were worried. They were very concerned that he wouldn't make it. And for me, he answered us with the game when he was playing with Kalen Moody against the Argentina. He showed his quality. He showed that he's not a guy he's not sparkling. He's very good under the high ball, and that's something he's practiced into and he's earned it. And it's a skill he has that we don't have. with the replacing winger. We don't have that part. Same with Moody. Cheslin's not that bad under the high ball, but Moodley is even better. I mean, you know.
My humble opinion.
Your co-host seems to disagree. Did you check the look he was giving you?
I saw.
My humble opinion.
Yeah.
Let's not discount where this Springbok squad announcement was held. It was held at MultiChoice. MultiChoice has got a Mursa call center. I think he's popular, like I just said, with the 60 million supporters.
Yeah.
If you look at the demographic of the call center makeup, and I'm not privy to it, but I'm making assumptions. I'm happy to be wrong. But I think people relate the demographic at the call center
is
relates
popular there.
to Mapimpi.
Yeah.
Because of where he comes from.
Yes,
in your humble opinion, which I don't think is that humble, do you think he shouldn't have been there?
No. You can't drop him. He's done nothing to be dropped.
And I knew where he was going to go, but I knew he believed in he deserved his spot. I mean, that game, we saw the game. They played better than what we perceive to be the starters. You know what I mean? And it's not that they're better than the starters. It's just that for that game and the game we were playing there, they were horses for courses, kind of. You know, they were the right guys.
His favorite phrase.
You know, they were the right guys. But we need as much bolstering at the back and as much quality as we can get, because in the middle there, we have teething problems. So I'm happy with his selection and the selection of Cheslin and the selection of Moody. Who's the other gentleman?
Ooh, the fellow from the box.
From the Bulls.
You're sorry, from the Bulls.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
Do you want us to look at the squad?
I've got him. Kurtley Arendse.
Kurtley Arendse. That's where we are winning. That's the best we have, no argument. And then we go towards the middle. That's where we have issues.
But I think if we are to be honest and just straight up rugby about it, you can have the best backline in the world. If your forward pack is going backwards, they're not going to do anything for you. So we just hope that forward pack, and they've done it over the years. I don't see why they should get to the World Cup and suddenly start stuttering.
And the depth is there. The depth is still there. Like if we pump, we literally need to pump opposition forwards.
Old man Dwayne, I think will lead that pack in the absence of Sia.
Yeah.
He's a tried and tested leader. He's done it. He's won the World Cup. He plays in Europe. So I think the forward pack, we should be fine.
I think we're galvanized there.
And then let's look at our friendly neighbors from New Zealand.
Yeah, no, those guys, if you look at all the squads that are in the World Cup, and what's been happening this weekend with players being injured and so on, to me, at the current moment, it looks like New Zealand has got the all-star. They're the all-stars. All-star pack that can give it to the box for at least a half. They can thoroughly give it to the box, you know. And the guys who are replacing them, they've got experience there as well. You look at the backline. The backline is loaded. They're the one team, forget France, that France is number one. They're the one team who look like they can get to the final of this World Cup. At least the final, give them to the final, you know?
Yeah, I think the only glaring person missing from that squad for me is a veteran prop, Joe Moody. But I don't think he weakens the team by not being there. You've got these new boys. I think he's a 23-year-old Nathan de Groot, and those boys are doing the things.
Yeah, no, they are. They're handling big packs and very experienced packs.
Another interesting thing for me is what kind of team they're going to field in their last warm-up match against the Springboks. I think, is it next weekend or 2 weeks from now?
I think in maybe 2 or 3 weeks from now. We're facing Wales next week.
Yeah, I think it's the weekend after that. It's going to be very interesting to see what team they put out to face the Springboks, because I suspect a lot of people are now going to start putting their stars in cotton wool.
Yeah.
And sort of tinkering with the fringe players.
And they are the only team that can afford to do that because they've won the championship. They've been doing tests across
in the championship.
Now they can afford to put away their stars. I don't think any of us, the rest of the cohort that's going to the World Cup, can afford to do that. They still have a lot of questions they need to answer. And if you look at the games that were played this weekend,
and I think the big question for New Zealand would be the 9-10 combination, but I think that picks itself. Aaron Smith and Richie Muwanga are the shoe-in, unless something dreadful happens between now and then.
And even if it does, the guys who could
standing
replace
in the wings
don't have, they're not giving much away. They're a percentage or two behind, So they still look like a team that's formidable enough to get to the final.
And then if we take it to our Northern Hemisphere brothers, England won a match yesterday.
And I think that the game, poor England. For them, it's something that they needed. And it's wonderful that they had enough character to play through and win the game, because they had lost two at some stage. They had lost two.
I think they had three at some stage.
Yeah, three people. And for them to have held up, wonderful for them. But I think, given the team that Wales had brought on, that's not their final team yet. And they were able to just lose it at the cast.
And this was at Twickenham. Let's not discount it.
Yes.
This was at Twickenham.
Yeah.
I think my big takeaway from that match, forget that time is flying.
Yeah.
Forget that they won the match. The big takeaway for me was Owen Farrell finally getting spotted for his shoulder charges and getting a red card. I think that for me is long overdue. This fellow has been doing this and getting away with it.
Yeah, he's been. And in this World Cup, because of what's happened there, I think perhaps it's something the refs have discussed and they're looking at that. So he's not going to have that arsenal anymore. And he could be banned. Arsenal. Yeah, it is.
It's weaponry.
Yeah.
And weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a possible 3-week ban we're looking at for him. And that's
in time for the World Cup still.
Yes. That being said.
Right. The other big story, for me anyway. Banyana came back this week. We got reports from our brothers in the media space that the players snubbed the media. They refused to speak to media. What did you make of that? My feeling is that these ladies have still not thrashed out their pre-World Cup issues. And I think until SAFA and the sports ministry comes to the party and sits with them and they agree on a way forward, we're going to keep seeing this thing come up time and again.
Yeah, there's issues. And I think also the media largely ignored them going into the World Cup.
I don't think so. The media shone the spotlight on the salary issues.
No, for sure, those kind of things. But it's not, given that we were playing in a World Cup year, there was not a lot of rah-rah about them going towards it, It's almost like we are treating them as Bafana, and they deserve a different kind of...
Is that the media's fault, or is that SAFA's communications fault?
I'd say the media could play its own role and give them the respect. But more than anything, the media is getting its stance from SAFA.
I think the Football Association is letting those ladies down.
Yeah, for sure. It's a big problem.
And I hope that they can actually figure it out, because I think we've got a special thing going in ladies sport in the country. And it's a good time, I think, to cash in on it. And by cashing in, I mean we need to translate the momentum they've got into developing the sport for them, that they can make a living from the sport.
Yeah, and more than that, we've got a group of talented people, as well as Desiree herself. They should really involve her in how the structures with the women's game should go, because clearly she's got a.
She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, and she's probably has value to give even for the future, you know. It will be nice if she falls into those structures even after she's coached. And we need to develop a game that can bring in more talent. Because given that we've got the people we have and we don't have a league for women, it means that there's a lot more out there, you know. And let's not treat them the way we treat Bafana. They deserve more than that.
Well, Bafana still get treated like royalty,
exactly,
even though they are where they are.
Yeah, they need to get a light shone on them, and they need to get proper development. The effort we put into Bafana during the 2010 World Cup is that effort that needs to go into those ladies.
So here's a plea to industrialists out there. Come on, guys. Do it for the ladies. It's Ladies' Month. It's Women's Month. Find that money that you're hiding away for a rainy day. It's raining now in women's
let's
football.
go straight to Patrice, because Patrice is there, you know.
He can't be the only one, though.
But he's the one who has these guys in his phone book.
Oh, got you.
And we must look way ahead of Women's Month now. These guys deserve it. They've done it for us a few times, and this time it was solid. We can't argue with it. They should be in the top 16 in the world, clearly. You know, let's get them there on a consistent basis.
I was listening to Coach Desiree at the airport on Friday, and she said something interesting. She says the European teams play against each other very often, and that's how they get their ranking points. We are ranked, I think, 56th in the world, somewhere there, because we just play in the AFCON and COSAFA, and that's not nearly enough ranking points for us to propel ourselves into a decent ranking on the FIFA rankings, you know?
You know the 7-a-side. We should get a league like that going, where they go into Cape Town, they play for a whole weekend, not play for points, you know, and then they go into another country, they have a small tournament there, so to avoid the traveling and the expense, you know. And if we have 3 tournaments like that, perhaps it will get us to a better level than the level we are. And hopefully Patrice can facilitate there, because he's in soccer and he knows.
He's the chief of African football.
Yeah. I think the women deserve it. Not just us, even Nigeria. Everybody.
Water boy. I think we are chewing into referees extra time.
They are not water boy. I was listening to that water boy.
Hey, we're fresh.
Yeah, we are progressing. They are.
Or TMO. Which one don't you like? TMO, right? TMO. But I thought you wanted to also speak. We have a minute left about the Women's World Cup. Oh, it was the Banyana thing.
No, we covered.
Yeah, the one thing I want to speak about is the France versus Scotland. There's a lot of data for the boys there. There's a lot of data. Given that we are playing Scotland, and obviously we're looking at getting to the final. Maybe the final will be France. We have a lot of data on how to dismantle or be dismantled by.
How do they play in the Six Nations? Did they face Wales? Seeing that we're playing Wales next week, maybe there should be a good assessment
for us. But Wales has been weak until now.
Wales has been struggling. I think before Gatlin came in, it was a sorry story there by the Welsh Rugby Union. As for Scotland, I think, look, they are in our pool, and I think it's a case of us, not us deciding, but it's going to be a case of who's going to come first and second in that group between us and them. That's my feeling.
Ireland there as well. And they could even beat Ireland, I think. This Scottish team.
Yeah. On that note, Mko, VAR says it's a chai.
Yeah. Hey guys, thank you for supporting us until now. Please subscribe and also share the channel with friends, family, your enemies. It's fine. Just share, bro. We need the support.